Here's what's selling right now for me as a part-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. I'm just a regular stay-at-home mom. I want to show you what kind of things you can be looking for when you're at thrift stores, antique sales, maybe not antique sales, but estate sales, garage sales, yard sales, all of those things, so that you can flip them for a profit and bring in some more extra money. What would you use it for? I use it for all kinds of things. Come on, let's go check it out. All right, let's jump right in with eBay. This sold for $10.71. It was a mid-century Persian kitten figurine. This was just ceramic, very, very sweet. It took quite a while to sell, so be prepared if you pick this up to possibly sit on it for a while, unless maybe you get the right eyes on it. As you can see, I do take measurements of these figurines so people can see exactly what they're getting and take photos from all angles. I listed these as soon as they sold. These were in a lot of military items that I got from a garage sale. It was $100 for the whole box, so I'm just waiting for all of these to go through so that once I hit $100, I'm going to consider the rest pure profit. These are vintage hankies, new old stock, never used, military. This was from a box full of Marines gear. As you can see, I took lots of photos, even though there's not much to show. This sold for $15, a vintage Sacred Heart plastic Catholic switch plate cover. So my daughter found this for me at a garage sale. She picked it up for less than $1. So this was a great little flip. I do show the measurements here. I show the front, the back, close-up views. Things that are Catholic related can do well. So make sure you always run your comps when you find items like this. Next up, I got this vintage table runner from the bins. It had this beautiful, beautiful look to it. It was in a lot with all kinds of other little German and Slovakian table runners and, I don't know, dresser scarves, things like that. I did take measurements. I showed up close. These were just absolutely stunning. I paid less than $1 for this, so this was a great flip. Look for beautiful tapestry like this. This sold for $13 on eBay. This was a vintage Swiss cowbell. I didn't even know what it was, but I had to run comps when I was at Goodwill. Maybe you saw that video on my YouTube channel when I found this, but a cool little piece, very folksy. Only paid $1.99 for this. I showed the measurements and listed, and it only took about a month or so, I believe. I just thought the details on this were absolutely adorable. Good sale. This sold for $17 on eBay, a vintage Echo silk scarf. It is 100% silk. I made sure that I took photos of how it would look on the neck if they were wearing it this way. You can also spread them out in a square and show them that way. This was folded into fourths for the measurements, but people can figure that out. I did go ahead and show the tag up close and the brand name, and I showed the pattern, which was people walking their dogs around a park. Really cute. $24 for this Roku piece. I really don't understand a lot about electronics, but my husband got this for me at a garage sale for only $2. He said it would sell. He ran the comps, and it did. So these are really great streaming devices. Even if you don't have the remote, you can sell this on its own. Keep an eye out. And $37 for this vintage Halloween vest. I found this at a thrift store for $7, which I don't usually pay for, and I don't usually buy clothes, so this was really unusual, but I knew it would sell. I've sold Halloween vintage kind of embroidered funky sweaters and sweater vests before, so I just knew it would be a good pick, even though it's not something I would normally sell. It sold fast in about 1 week on eBay. Next up, $13 on eBay for this vintage Kodacolor hard-to-find film. This is still new in the box. This is new old stock from Target. I do suggest picking these up when you can find them. I paid less than $2 for this at an estate sale. And so you always want to run comps. Be very specific when you put in all the info on eBay when you're trying to find comps. You want to get the exact same piece. And again, Sweet Valley High comes through for me, $20. I paid about $2.50 for these books altogether. I always spend less than $1 a piece on these, and some of these names of these books are kind of wild, but they always sell very well for me. They're a good flip. You guys have seen me talk about these before. Always pick them up if you find them. Look for, oh, here we go. Here, I'm showing the date. Look for these dates. They are old, like me. $10 for these vintage Cabbage Patch overalls. I took these off the doll and I put the doll nude into a lot with other dolls. If you know, you know. That's the way I sell my Cabbage Patch. Always sell the clothes separately. People are going to be looking for these and they do much better that way. So I guess I was less than $1 into these. I thought they were so darling. They'll always have a patch just like this. These pharmacology flashcards sold for $9, very small sale on eBay. I think I paid $1 for them, but a sale is a sale, and I was happy to get them to someone who needed them. I bought these originally at a garage sale for a lady that I ended up going back and doing a private pick with. She was getting rid of all the things on her eBay and Etsy store, so this was a great little sale for me and really got the ball moving, and that's okay. Small sales are all right. Cabbage Patch clothes again. This sold for $17. It was a vintage Cabbage Patch Easter bunny suit costume. I did add some photos. I made sure I took pictures of the front, the back. Of course, I took a close-up of the little logo too. But again, remove the clothes from the doll and sell them separately. Put the nude dolls into a lot. You're going to do better that way. Go back and find my video on how I sell Cabbage Patch dolls if you'd like to find out more. $13 on eBay for this vintage puffy Santa. I really feel like he was sitting extra long. Plush can sit a long time, guys, so just know that when you pick it up. But he sat for a really long time, probably over a year. Finally sold. He was pretty big, 21 inches. As you can see, I just take photos right here on my kitchen countertop. I've done that way a long time, and it works out for me. $31 for this vintage embroidery floss, JMP brand. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I always collect this a little bit at a time, collect a whole bunch of it for really, really cheap, and then sell it that way. I do suggest selling in big lots like this. It's going to go a lot, goodness, it's going to go a lot faster for you, and you can get rid of it all at once. Good sale here. $12 for this vacuum filter for a Eureka. I had no idea what this even was when I found it at the thrift store for $1.99. I saw it was new in box. I looked it up, and you guys wouldn't believe this, but I thought it was a light bulb just from the photo, and I thought it was a light bulb all the way until I got home. That's how little I paid attention that day when I was looking up comps. That's kind of embarrassing, but hey, I'm not perfect. Neither are you. That's okay. $26 on eBay for this vintage Cabbage Patch set of Christmas doll clothes. I am fumbling over my words today, but we're going to get through it. I'm not going back. Look for these. They were kind of like a velvet material. Of course, the bib, I'm not even sure if it went with it, but it was with the set, so I put it with it. It goes to a boy and a girl. Take pictures of the little logo up front, of course. Again, another great Cabbage Patch sale. $22 on eBay for these vintage nightgowns. I had these for way too long. These were a size small, which is not the easiest size to sell. I got them from an estate sale over a year ago. I had them sold for sale separately, and then I finally just put them all together and decided to sell them that way. Didn't get much out of these, maybe a couple bucks by the time it was all said and done, but I'm glad they're gone, out the door and on to someone else. These came from the same bin of military gear. These were over boots. They're rubber over boots. As you can see, they just slip right over the military boot. I'm still going to keep selling these military items from that bin until I hit $100. Then the rest is going to be pure profit. These were a size 11. They sold in just a couple of days after listing, so keep an eye out for these and purchase them if you pick them up. No, purchase them if you see them. $34 on eBay for these Ortho Feet women's Mary Jane shoes. I don't know a lot about these. Again, I don't do a lot of shoes or clothes. I picked them up because they appeared to be in brand new condition. Apparently, they were missing some inserts that these normally come with, but again, I don't know a lot about that. I did list them as they were. I did note that they were missing the inserts, and they sold just fine in a couple of months. $11 for these Amelia Bedelia books. Do you guys remember these? There was one that was really old from the 60s. There was one from the 80s and one from the 90s. I did take note of that. I did have some photos of the picture books themselves, but I also took photos of the inside here so people could see the dates. That's going to be important to some people because there will be different editions of books. This took a couple of months. Good little pickup that I paid 75 cents for. $26 for these Munchkin Apocalypse Steve Jackson games. There were 2 games. I paid $4 altogether for these at a Goodwill, so don't tell me Goodwill never has any good stuff. I took pictures of all the inside. I double-checked, and you need to too on your games to see if they have all the pieces or not, because people want to know. So here's all the photos of what they look like. I had never heard of this game before, so be sure you keep your eye out. $23 for these vintage cassette tapes, Holy Bible, New Testament, the whole thing, all in cassette tapes. I got this at an estate sale for less than $2. If you didn't catch that video, go back and check it out. It's a really fun pick. I took photos of everything, the inside, the outside, all of the cassette tapes that had pretty much never been used. This was in excellent condition, and it sold in less than 3 weeks. I was really happy with this sale. This vintage pewter picture frame sold on eBay for $14. Actually, was this eBay or Poshmark? Anyway, sold for $14. I do put things like cabin or lake house when I sell things with ducks on them, and I suggest you do that as well. Your keywords are going to be really important when you're selling things, so always think of how this item is going to be used. Also, took pictures of the back here. $24 for this set of vintage mirrors, candlestick holders, mirrored candlestick holders. They were pretty good size. I did take pictures of the measurements, lots of photos of the different angles here. I don't show you guys all my photos here because it would be a ton. It would take way too long. The video would be really, really long. So I was hoping these would sell locally so I wouldn't have to wrap them, but they sold on eBay and that's okay. $14 on eBay for this Forever Friend sister cross-stitch finish piece. I did find this at the bins. It probably only cost pennies because it weighs absolutely nothing. This sold in about a month or two, I believe around a month. It was lacy and cute and kind of shabby chic, so I really want to know what someone was doing this. Did they give it to a sister? Did they keep it and put it on a pillow? I don't know. $13 for these vintage Tupperware Tupper Toys Zoo-It-Yourself animals. You're going to notice these. If you see them, you're never going to forget what they look like. You're going to notice that these look like 3D puzzle pieces and look like zoo animals all in one. These were old Tupperware toys. They are going to be a small seller, but a good seller. I probably paid less than $2 for this whole thing, so it was a good little bread and butter flip. $16 for these women's silver jeans, $32.29. These were boot cut. I use the keyword Western because that usually seems to do well for me. Jeans are the one piece of clothing that I do like to still pick up and sell because they're a much faster sale for me. They're much easier for me than shirts and dresses and all of those things. I know exactly how to do the photos for them, so pretty simple. Only paid $4 for these. Next is this lot of Choose Your Own Adventure books for $12 on eBay. I did only pay $2 for all 4 of these books. They took a little while to sell. You'll notice that some of these are vintage and some of them are brand new and 2 of them are exactly the same, but this person bought them anyway. So keep an eye out for them, but especially for the vintage Choose Your Own Adventure books. They're going to be a good sell. $13 for this vintage fall table runner. I picked this up at a yard sale at Junk John in Nebraska. This is a perfect time of year to be selling all of your fall stuff. So if you see patterns that look kind of like this, use the word tapestry in your listing. Here's a closer picture of what I mean. If they look like this. This was so sweet. And I did take a photo of the little bit of a mess on the back here, and someone purchased it anyway, so they'll take care of it. $14 on eBay for this vintage Cabbage Patch Kids red overalls with ruffles. Look how sweet and darling they are. They were not in perfect condition, but I did take lots of photos, front and back and close up. A little bit faded, but again, I mean, just absolutely darling. Again, always remove the clothes for the Cabbage Patches. I got these at a garage sale, paid less than $1 for this by the time it was all said and done. $12 for this vintage little Susie Says 1950s booklet. It is really small, really, really sweet. I don't even remember where I got this, but I'm pretty sure I would have paid less than $1 for this. I wish I could remember where I got it. Maybe an estate sale, I'm not sure. I probably had this 6 or 7 months. I'm not actually positive on that, but took lots of photos, make sure they could see everything, and listed it and sold it. I paid $1.99 for this vintage hand-painted ceramic Mardi Gras mask decor. These used to hang on bedroom walls and things like that. I mean, they were actually decorative, and I think for some gals, they're coming back around now. At least that's what they seem to be. I'm probably aging myself saying, like, oh, the young girls are decorating with these now, but I don't care. Take your measurements, show the front and back, look for chips. That's going to be very important. And more Cabbage Patch clothes. These were all different buyers. $17 for this little white knit winter outfit. It was actually kind of white and peach with little peach hearts on the front. Again, I took a picture of the side of the arm with the Cabbage Patch logo. That's what you need to look for. And I just thought this was the sweetest sale. Only paid $1.99 for this set. $34 for this Purex Stay Flow liquid starch. If you didn't catch the video where I found this at the estate sale, make sure you go watch it. I only paid $2 for this. It was brand new, old stock. Unusual things like these are going to sell. So, I mean, if you're curious, you're curious. Look it up. Don't be afraid to just stand there at an estate sale and look things up and see what they're worth. This was a great flip and in less than 2 weeks. $17 for this vintage Cornhuskers t-shirt. I only paid $2 for this at an estate sale. I did also pick up some vintage shark t-shirts at that estate sale, and those sold as well. I don't know if you guys caught those in my one of my videos or not, but it's a size XL, which is a good size to sell. Again, I don't do a lot of clothes, but it's Husker season here right now. I knew this would sell. And a few tiny sales on Poshmark. $9 for this vintage Barbie doll nightgown. It was either 80s or 90s, I don't recall, but it was kind of a felt, not felt, flannel kind of looking nightgown. Oh my goodness. I did take pictures of the front, the back, the ruffles. So sweet. Tiny sale. Probably paid 25 cents for it. Next on Poshmark, $19 for this beautiful trinket jewelry decor box. This was absolutely gorgeous. It was either a vintage or antique. Look at the feet on this. I took lots of photos, took photos of the measurements. Don't be afraid to buy these. You can wrap them up really well and get these shipped. If you know what you're doing with packaging, you're not going to run into issues with breakage, especially for a beautiful piece like this. I literally made zero money on this. It was a clear storage Tupperware container, $4.50. What? On Mercari. But yes, I sold it. I had it forever. I paid 25 cents. Do I regret it? Yes. Will I maybe pick it up again? You know, probably. What's wrong with me? I don't know. If you have to buy Tupperware, take pictures of the bottom so people can see the numbers. That's what they're going to be looking for. This was also a Mercari sale, $13 for these vintage blinking Halloween lights. I had these for literally for years, so I'm so glad these finally sold after doing a delete and sell similar twice. Yeah, they're just spooky eyes. I think they were originally from Walmart, but I just took lots of photos and finally these sold. I was so glad. Next up are some Anna Lee dolls. I sold these for $13. I only paid $2 for these at a garage sale. Be careful because a lot of people think that Anna Lee is worth a ton of money, but a lot of them are just bread and butter, like these little cuties right here. So make sure you're buying low if you're picking up Anna Lee, unless it's something special. Run your comps, be very specific in what you're looking for. Here are the measurements. They're about 8 inches tall. Cute little decorative pieces. Again, another one I pretty much made like no money on. Maybe $2. This was $4.98 on Mercari. It's a teacher's calendar and pocket chart set. I think I got it from the bins a long time ago, and it's kind of sat forever. And I'm going to be really brutally honest with you guys. I think I completely forgot about this. It was just sitting in my inventory room, but here it is. It finally sold for basically nothing. And now my Facebook Marketplace sales. These vintage Atlas salt and pepper shakers sold to Cheryl. These were 1960s. I did take measurements and add some photos here. I paid $1 for these. I flipped them for $10. So a small sale. Had them for a long time, which can happen with salt and pepper shakers. So you need to be aware of that. Just be ready to sit on them. But they don't take up a lot of space. I just had a little bin full of these. And I was glad to see these go to someone who would appreciate them. This little Woody doll sold for $10 on Marketplace. I paid less than $1 for him, probably 50 cents. He was at the Goodwill bins. He still had his hat, otherwise I wouldn't have picked him up. But the cool thing is that he is posable. If you have a toy that is posable, use that word in your keyword on your listings. It's going to help with the sale because people love posable toys. There's a tip from me to you. Also, the bottom of the boot is important here because it shows the manufacturer and when he was made. A good Marketplace sale. $29 for these vintage Fitz and Floyd sugar and creamer set. These are really cute. I use the word pastel for these, and I believe maybe the keyword's tea party. I'm not sure. If you didn't see the garage sale where I was picking these up, make sure you go check that video out. She also had some Fitz and Floyd candle holders that I tried to sell to the same buyer, but they weren't interested in those, so they did take these. I was so happy to see them go. Only paid $8. $12 for these vintage Mickey Mouse puzzles and Minnie Mouse. If you pick up puzzles, these are going to sit a while. I paid $3 for these, so they're a small flip, but they took a very, very long time to sell. You need to be aware of that. Even though there's a lot of nostalgia attached to vintage children's puzzles, they're going to be low money and they can sit a very long time. That's okay. I'm okay with long tail items. The same buyer actually purchased these two vintage Charlie Brown puzzles for $15, and I only paid $1 for both of these put together. They did have all the pieces, just a little bit of wear, and I was so excited because she said she was getting them for her granddaughter who is just now moving to be closer to her in Nebraska. So a very sweet sale on Marketplace. I just love that. And my last Marketplace sale, so excited. I paid $5 for this vintage General Fabrics cotton. There were 8 yards here, and I flipped it from $5 into $60. She did make an offer of $60. I think I was asking $68. I do just take lots of photos of fabrics, show measurements even of how big the flowers are on the fabric, and that's it. Some great Marketplace sales and great sales all together. Thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please go ahead and check out some other videos if you want to see how I'm picking these things up and where I'm picking them up, how I'm searching the shelves and all of the bins. Come on over to my channel and check out some of my other videos. Talk to you guys real soon. Bye.